Hello and welcome back to Chair League. I am your host Jason. I am proud to be able to bring you guys this Division 1 match, Kairos versus Mayhem, two very high-profile teams from Division 1 here. Both teams 2-0 so far on the season, which is pretty impressive. Both these teams looking to really set themselves apart from the rest of the pack, maybe earning a spot going up against our overlords, Deep Impact in Division 1 so far this season. But the Chen band coming out right away. This is going to be on Infernal Shrines. Do not adjust your internet browsers, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed Infernal Shrines. It's not one of those newfangled maps that aren't yet on Top Drafter. So, and the Cho Gall band coming out. It turns out you only have to ban one, and the other gets automatically banned as well. So that's always a nice feature. But the light abandons no man. Thank you very much thank you very much, Iceflox. I appreciate that. Maybe we should capture a mercenary camp or drink from the fountain. Just saying. But we are going further into this draft. We do have first pick coming up here from Kairos. They have pretty much your pick of the litter at this point with Chen and Cho Gall gone. I don't even know what you pick from there. On Infernal Shrines, you can get a lot of value out of the specialists, whether you're looking at Sylvanas for the extra pushing power to go with the Punisher, Zagara just for the extra split push, Zol for the same reason. And they are really taking their time on this first pick. I'm starting to worry that whoever's controlling things over there might be having some issues, but sure enough, we do see that it is going to be ETC coming out as the first pick. Huge prioritization here of the tanks for the side of Kairos. Maybe trying to get the comfort pick, maybe just thinking that they got something going here with ETC, but Mayhem is going to go ahead and capitalize there and get probably the best healer on this map, in my opinion, Ariel. Very, very good wave clear, which is so important here on Infernal Shrines. Also, a very good sustained healer, doing a very, very nice job of being able to sustain those heals on the map objectives on those shrines. So and the Sylvanas pickup will also come in here. So it looks like they are going to focus on building a team that is capable of taking these map objectives, winning on the shrines, so they can push with it when they have Sylvanas and that extra lingering poison probably at that level 1 to be able to shut down those towers and aid in the Punisher's push. We will see Kairos responding with Zagara is very, very good. Not only on capturing the objective, she's good at being able to pressure and get a lot of extra pressure in that space, but also adding to the wave that pushes with the Punisher. Maybe not the most used. I think most teams prefer Zol and Sylvanas on this map to Zagara, but you can't count out Zagara. She's one of the strongest heroes in the game right now on any map, and her ability to split push, especially with the global Nidus network, can be really good. We'll have to see if they decide to build that. At this point with ETC, having Ma Zagara can be kind of a counterintuitive team comp, especially with Falstad and Gust, but don't discount the whole idea of mawing a few members of a team and then gusting the rest of them away to isolate. So we could see maybe that's the combo they're going for. We'll have to look at what the rest of the draft looks like. But we got the second band coming out here from Mayhem. They do have the opportunity to apply the healer chokehold here. They do have Ariel, but they also have the ability to maybe apply some kind of chokehold on what they're about to pick if they think they have a good idea of what they're going to pick and want to counter maybe burst damage. But they already have Falstad to Kairos. So other than the healer ban, and they are going to ban out Malfurion. We've seen some nice prioritization of Malfurion this week ever since he got that rework just a couple of days ago. All of a sudden, we see everybody putting a main focus on the new and improved Malfurion. And I think his buff numbers are being felt at this point. I myself have not had a chance to get a lot of personal information on him, but Malfurion is one of my favorite healers, so that is something that I intend to do very, very soon. Soon, trademark, as Blizzard likes to say. So, ban coming out here from Kairos, again, taking their sweet time picking this out. They are going to choose to apply that tank chokehold with Muradin. At this point, really focusing on that tank position. They get ETC. They're going to ban out both Chen and Muradin. So they really want to be able to rule on that front line. But there's one thing they've forgotten here. Johanna is still in the draft availability pool here. Johanna, probably my favorite on this map personally because of her ability to get a lot of easy wave clear. Not to mention the fact that she also has good presence on those shrines. She has the ability to soak a lot of damage and get a lot of harass out on the enemy team. We'll have to see if that's what Mayhem decides to go with. Ultimately, they are going to start with Arthas, kind of a poor man's Sylvanas. So they've got both the poor man's Sylvanas and the non-poor man's Sylvanas. But then again, Arthas, if he's up front, he may end up being a solo tank here. We'll have to see what Mayhem decides to go with, whether they're going to play him more with the Bruiser, Syndragosa style, or the main tank Army of the Dead style. We'll see. See what they're going to go with. Second pick here, they still need a burst damage dealer. And then they have to decide where they really want to go with their comp. If I was Mayhem, I'd be choosing my burst damage dealer right here. And sure enough, with 1 second left, they do just that. It's going to give them the ability to kind of decide what direction they want to take their comp in as they move on to that last pick, based on what Kairos decides here. I don't know, a lot of people talk about the advantage that's gained from having the first pick in a draft. And no doubt that there is a lot of advantage to be gained there. But I think a lot of drafts are won and lost based on how you counter your opponent's draft. And so having that last pick in and of itself can be an advantage if you draft with that in mind. Looks like Mayhem is indeed looking to be able to counter with whatever that last pick can be. It can be pretty much anything. Those 4 members that Mayhem has is very across the board good. They can pretty much add anything to that, and it'll be viable. Morales coming out here from Kairos, not something you see every day. A little more standard there with Thrall. So they're going to have that double front line with Falstad as the burst damage, Zagara with the extra siege, and Morales in the back trying to sustain against a comp that's not very divey. So I think that's a pretty good call. I do like it. Could get Stim Drone on Falstad. We'll probably see more of Stim Drone on Thrall unless they, of course, decide to go with that medevac, which could be interesting. And Anubarak is going to close out this draft, so they are going to choose to go double front line with no Tychus. And nice job by Kairos there also. Picking Thrall, really avoiding the threat that Tychus poses as a possible last pick there. They do decide to go double front line. Nubarak Li Ming, which is a great combo. No huge counter to Li Ming. Zagara can offer somewhat of a soft counter with some of those minions being able to get in the way, but certainly doesn't do it as well as Nubarak does. So they do get that last pick. Also pretty good at being able to dive in on the back line, get a lot of extra damage out. Could be trouble for this Morales, or they could just go straight up web wrap to take her completely out of a team fight after 10. So we'll see what they go with. I think both of these teams have drafted incredibly well. As I said at the top of the cast, both these teams very, very good. Top of Division 1 caliber teams, so you knew it was going to be a good draft, and we know that this is going to be an excellent match. I'm really looking forward to calling this one for you guys. Thank you so much for joining me here for another awesome Chair League match, and it looks like we are just about ready to go. Indeed, everybody's ready up. We are going to be loading into Infernal Shrines here. Kairos versus Mayhem here in Division 1. We are going to see first on the left, Spagooter is going to be playing Thrall, Insane on ETC, Monkey Lamps on Lieutenant Morales, Jelly Ninja on Falstad, and blank on Zagara. On the right, we're going to see Mayhem with Sick Logic playing Li Ming. Lazy Panda is going to be playing a Nubarak. Sorry, man. Chen got banned. I guess Lazy Panda's not going to get that Chen pick. Willy Nilly will be playing Ariel, and I'm hoping that those heals are not willy nilly as this match goes along. Steady is what you want to see from Ariel. Brain Throne is going to be playing Arthas, and Bloodbrain will be rounding it out on Sylvanas. Infernal Shrines, one of our favorite maps here in Heroes of the Storm, picked very, very often in the pro scene. We see it a lot here in Chair League as well, so no big shocker there. Most what I would call serious Heroes of the Storm player, and by serious I mean people that are in tune with the meta and in tune with what's going on, know the temperature of the game. Really do like this map. It's pretty. It's not as snowbally as some of the other maps, so there is always a chance to be able to come back. The map objective is one that's fairly predictable, not really too hard to control. So I think that's another thing that a lot of people like about it, is that there's not a whole lot of RNG to this map. It's pretty much, you know what you have to do to go get the map objective, and then you know exactly how it works, right down to the point where you can kite that Punisher if you know how to do it right. So right away, we're going to see a 4v5 in the mid. Arthas is going to go ahead and go up and around and prepare to soak that top lane. It does look like right now mid lane is being focused on pretty heavily here by Kairos. With those early Morales heals, no reason they can't be particularly aggressive here. Even throwing out a little bit of heals to keep that wave up is Monkey Lamps. And we will see eventually the rotation out here. Zagara will be going top. Ariel and Sylv already going bottom to start to clear that lane. So they're going to prioritize quick rotations here, while we do see Kairos, in this early at least, prioritizing making sure to get those waves cleared. We do see Insane trying to get to Sick Logic there. A little bit of a late slide and a nice whip there from Willy Nilly to be able to really peel. Really one of the only supports in the game that have a really solid peel game is Ariel. The other one being Malfurion, which we've seen coming up. And a huge combo there from Sick Logic, putting a ton of damage down on Jelly Ninja. Easily healed up, mind you, by Monkey Lamps. But we do see Sick Logic starting to already get some damage out here, padding those stats, at least making Morales use some of that mana here early in the match. But nothing that Monkey Lamps can't handle. Actually, still full on mana as the rotations continue. We're going to see Kairos going ahead and rotating to take care of this bottom wave. But ultimately, it is going to mean they're going to be making a late rotation to the top lane, where we see this very first shrine starting to spawn. Sick Logic with a really sick teleport just in time to get out of Insane's slide range there. That could have gotten very ugly very quickly, but a well-timed dodge there from that teleport. Meanwhile, we do see Brain Throne up on the top, going ahead and getting started on this shrine, taking a little bit of an early advantage from this slow rotation from Kairos. And right away, it looks like Lazy Panda is going to be the focus target here. The slide will get at him. The root is also going to hit, but he will be able to burrow charge out just in time. Willy Nilly is going to need a little bit more energy to be able to keep up with those kind of damage numbers. However, we do see the double stun there coming out, hitting both Insane and Monkey Lamps, stopping those heals for just a little while, and that is what you really, really want in a hero to be able to counter Morales. Something that can, at least for a temporary time, stop that green beam of healing, but ultimately not going to be enough. A Nubarak getting stuck out a little bit too far. Insane doing a nice job of isolating him and allowing the team to follow up. And that is going to be first blood going over to Kairos as they start to get an advantage here on this shrine. We're going to actually see Arthas going ahead. Brain Throne is going to fully sound the retreat on this Punisher. Is going to go start soaking in the other lanes. We actually see Falstad also flying to the mid. Kairos realizing that they do not need all 5 members here when two members of Mayhem are going ahead and splitting out to other lanes. So very nice plays coming out from this team so far. They clearly have a solid mastery of this map, right down to Lazy Panda doing a very nice job of kiting over the wall that Punisher, and is going to get a ton of damage laid down on it. But here comes Kairos. They are going to get that slide through to Lazy Panda, isolating him a little bit to get the damage out, and a huge jump here onto Sick Logic. Ton of damage coming out, but not quite enough follow-up there from Kairos to be able to capitalize on that well-timed Punisher jump. And it will be cleaned up here by Mayhem. They do lose their front wall, but nothing they can't recover from in the long term of this game. About a half-level lead here, so nothing too ridiculously insane as far as advantages go. But level 7 right around the corner. Lazy Panda, Sick Logic maybe looking for a little something, but ultimately just sticking around to soak these lanes. Both teams rotating out pretty quickly. Starting to murk a little bit here is Mayhem. A little slower on that concept so far is Kairos. Usually you see teams start to go after these. Insane getting a little caught out here from willy-nilly, but he will be able to slide back. And they do also isolate Anubarak once again. That is going to be the second time in this match that we see Anubarak going a little bit too deep. And early in this match, when you got Monkey Lamps up here with these insane Morales heals, it's going to be really hard to get those picks. I'd like to see him play a little bit more conservative in the early part of this match, especially when your other tank Arthas is not around. Kind of tough to pull off those kills. Like I said, with that Morales around, the heals are just so insane in the early game. Until your team really starts to hit their damage spikes and get those burst damage out, it's really, really hard to pick up those kills. Though Sick Logic has been hitting some nice burst damage himself, but here it is again, Lazy Panda. Third time in a row on Anubarak, and this is just starting to get a little bit rough as three straight deaths coming from just getting in a little bit too far. And let's give Kairos credit as well. They realize an advantage when they see one. They've been doing a nice job of isolating Anubarak, doing a really nice job of capitalizing and coordinating their CC. Is Spagooter and Insane here. And they're going to be able to take this one uncontested, preparing a little bit of a gank attempt here on Blank, but ultimately not going to be able to get synced up there in that top lane to be able to do that. However, they are going to go ahead and push this top lane. They realize that there is no chance that they are going to be able to get this Punisher, so instead they're going to go ahead and try and take advantage elsewhere in the map. I think that's one of those classic Dreadnought rules is do not respond to a losing situation. So gonna choose to go somewhere else on the map, get a front wall in that top lane and start to try to focus there. But meanwhile, we do have the Frozen Punisher in the bottom lane. This bottom lane already being softened up here by Spagooter. There is no ammo left there. A successful bait over there by Bane Throne, but ultimately without those front wall cannons, this Punisher is going to remain very, very healthy through this push as the fort is in a lot of trouble. Level 10s have been picked up here by Kairos. They got a full level lead advantage at this point as the fort goes down, and all of a sudden the front wall of this keep is going to be under a heavy amount of pressure here. They will continue to bait this Punisher over these walls, will successfully get it behind the front wall, and actually Kairos does decide to go ahead and back up. With those front wall cannons and all the ammo, it wasn't going to take very long for Mayhem to clean those up, so they're going to choose to rotate elsewhere and make a very nice move here in the mid to get that mid-front wall. So important to be able to soften up these structures. A lot of people don't respect how important it is here on Infernal Shrines to be able to take down those front wall cannons and really prevent the enemy team from being able to predictably bait over the Punisher and just completely destroy it before it gets any value. So now it doesn't matter what lane the Punisher spawns in this next phase. Kairos has every single one of these walls softened up. If it is, it will not be in the bottom lane, so we're going to see it either in the mid or the top lane. Like I said, Kairos has done a nice job of setting themselves up for success when that happens. It looks like we're also going to see Mayhem, though, applying a similar logic here. Sick Logic actually going to be on the forefront of that. They're going to go ahead and start to soften up this bottom lane for a possible future. Oh, but Ariel with the nice Aegis there to be able to keep Banethrone alive as his full collapse is coming in from Kairos. The chase is still on. Wave of Force and Wailing Arrow also going to be used there, though. Wave of Force, not a big deal, but that might be a bit of a misplay there from Sylvanas, from Bloodbrain there. That cooldown used maybe a little bit preemptively. That's a 90-second cooldown that will not be up when this shrine activates. However, Blank might also not be there. Lazy Panda actually missing the CCs willy-nilly with that whip. Actually going to push Blank out of harm's way. A rough go there. We do see that we do see the medevac coming out here from Kairos, so they're prioritizing some of these really quick and responsive rotations here. Our Kairos. I really do like that call. There's not a whole lot of value, I think, that you get at this point in the match, especially on this map where rotations are so key. You don't get as much value out of Stimpak. I mean, I can respect what a Stim Drone Thrall can do for you, but rotations on this map are so very important. Global presence usually prioritized as a draft tool in general here, so can definitely respect that pick. Meanwhile, Insane and Spagooter maybe looking for a pick here, trying to find if anybody might be out, trying to make sure that Mayhem doesn't go in to try and get that camp. So nice scouting there from the frontliners. Again, realizing that they don't need all 5 members to capture that shrine, so they go ahead, send a few members out to get advantages elsewhere. And ladies and gentlemen, if you don't think that one of the biggest advantages in the game is vision, you are wrong. But Lazy Panda getting in a ton of trouble again. The burrow charge attempting to get out, but the Punisher actually going to finish that kill off and get involved. And all of a sudden, down the mid lane they come. 13 has been picked up here by Mayhem, but without a Nubarak, I'm not sure there's a whole lot they can do. This wall is going to come down. Insane immediately sliding in, and Banethrone going to actually also get hit by that Sunder. It's not going to be enough as a nice Wailing Arrow, this time by Bloodbrain, to be able to really deter them. And with these cannons still up, a lot of damage coming out. Morales can't heal that many members that quickly, so they will be forced to back out, but they get the fort, and they get the keep front wall as well. So eventually, we're seeing slowly but surely Mayhem running out of opportunities to be able to come back in this match. A nice invade though. Lazy Panda gonna come full aggro mode onto this camp, trying to steal it back. But Jelly Ninja gonna go ahead and get on it, going against Lazy Panda. A nice gust there to isolate. However, Monkey Lamps is caught out completely alone in the back. Sick Logic is gonna spawn that reset, but Nubarak also falling on the back line, willy-nilly doing everything they can to try and keep Banethrone up, and is able to successfully do that to get the resets for Sick Logic. But Sick Logic, quickly running out of mana, is actually going to turn around and try to kill Spagooter, but is not going to be able to get away with that kill. It is going to end up walking away out of all that with a 2 for 2. The mid lane bruisers were indeed picked up there by Kairos, but 16s will be picked up off the back of those 2 kills. And all of a sudden, Kairos is going to find themselves in an advantageous position here with the level 16 advantage and the next shrine soon to spawn. We see Monkey Lamps going ahead and coming back right into the match with that lovely little medevac ship. And there it is. It's going to be in the bottom lane. As we said before, a little bit of softening up to that bottom lane by the last Punisher. Nothing too big. So, how many lives left here for Mayhem before they can't just give up these Punishers anymore? Every time they give up one of these Punishers, they're just slowly but surely giving up more and more of their structures. And in the bottom lane, they're also going to have to now clean up this Khazra camp that's going to be slowly but surely pushing in the lane of choice here. Again, not a very quick rotation, but level 16s are still not here for Mayhem. They may have to give this one up or suffer a instant loss here. So, but that's the big question here for Mayhem. How many more of these can they afford to give up? But level 16 right around the corner here. Only about halfway through taking this, so they can still contest. It does look like they're going to elect to. We see Lazy Panda jumping in here with Bane thrown. They're going to start getting these. Wailing Arrow will go all the way to the back line to get Morales and silence them for the moment. And they are focusing on Insane. The Gust is going to completely shove every member of Mayhem out of that mosh. A very unfortunate coupling of those ults that did not work out for them, but they are going to catch Lazy Panda out here again at least. The Burrow Charge is not going to be able to get them out, but they will exchange that for Thrall at this point. The Bruisers are gone. Ariel is going to get Mod, which will allow them to kill Thrall here. Sick Logic doing everything they can to try and blink around here with that mostly Calamity build, but ultimately it is going to be a 2-for-1 exchange where Sylvanas gets solo. They have to back out. Sick Logic out of mana. Punisher will be picked up by Kairos. I respect a lot of what Mayhem did there. They gave it a shot. They realized they really needed to be able to take that, but ultimately getting a little bit too split up in that fight. And despite the grace of having that Gust out of Mosh there to give them a second chance in that team fight, not quite able to overcome Kairos and that ultimate pushing power where they were able to split them up, push in, and get that Anubarak kill once again on that frontliner, and just kind of a rough match for them. So far, they do kite it to the mid keep, so they're going to get a lot of damage on this Punisher. This isn't necessarily have to be the end of the game, as they do continue to bait him further in to where Kairos not really feeling like they can comfortably push in here. And a very, very nice defense here from Mayhem. Kairos not electing to push too hard with this Punisher. Is going to get that front wall down, but ultimately not able to secure a keep. And I keep asking the question, how many more lives in the basket? But here comes Lazy Panda, and will be able to sync up that Burrow Charge with the slide. A very nifty escape there by Lazy Panda. But how many more lives in the basket of Mayhem here? It seems like they've got at least one more at this point. Monkey Lamps also going ahead and healing up that Khazra camp to get a little bit more value down that mid lane. But ultimately will be cleaned up here by Mayhem. Kairos not really wanting to force a fight here unless they get a good look, as they do not have this level 20 advantage. No reason to give them an opportunity to catch up. But Bane Throne getting isolated really hard here. The Aegis is going to come out, but the Maw will get 2 on that back line to isolate. And we will see the Mosh coming out is going to catch those 2 coming out of the Mosh, or out of the Maw. Very, very nice coupling of those abilities. This time around, we didn't see the Gust coming out, and all of a sudden, that's a 2-for-0 exchange. And without Li Ming and Ariel, I'm not really sure there's a whole lot that Mayhem can do to stop at least this keep capture, if not the entire game. Still 28 seconds until those 2 members are here, and they do have Morales' incredible healing power and the opportunity to get even more picks here in a 5v3 situation. The keep is going to go down. The question is, what does Kairos want to do here? Are they going to give them another chance? They indeed are. They're going to rotate to this top camp and probably capture it. Yep, they will go ahead and elect to take it. They realize still 3 seconds on those 2 members. No way they're going to get invaded. And now they have level 20. So very smart plays coming out from here from Kairos. No real reason to risk too much going after the core there. There's a chance they could have gotten it, but there's always also that chance that they could have not been able to secure it. So just choosing for now to go ahead and step back. They'll be able to get this shrine very easily. They'll have this Punisher in the top lane. Also able to steal that camp to get that little extra value. Meanwhile, we do see in the bottom lane, Bloodbrain and Bane Throne actually choosing to split push, which I think is a pretty decent idea. They're going to go ahead and get this camp, which will allow them to maybe push in this bottom, get them a little bit closer to 20. I don't know if they're going to be able to make that entire trek all the way to level 20 before things start to get ugly here on the keep and core in that top lane, but they're certainly going to give it a shot at this point. And we do see that this is pretty much captured here at this point. ETC getting a little caught out here, though, and Sane. They are rotating to try and get him, but willy-nilly is going to be the only one to actually find him on that back line. So kind of lucky for Insane on that rotation. And actually Insane choosing to go deep here. The Wailing Arrow is, not going to be in time. A nice cleanse there by Monkey Lamps, being able to stop the Wailing Arrow from interrupting the mosh pit. Very, very nice play there by Monkey Lamps. Gotta respect the huge support play coming out there. And just a nice pick on those two members. Again, here we are. Level 20s have been picked up. The Punisher is pushing. Ma's going to come out. Now Bane Throne is going to go down. And I didn't even see Li Ming die. She died so fast there. And Kairos with some really, really sick plays all game long. Being able to finish it out here with style as well. Just a very nice game from them in general. Very, very impressive. We saw Mayhem constantly stay in the game, but they were constantly also playing on the back foot. It's really, really hard to win matches when you're playing the game from that back foot position. And just in general, Kairos doing a very nice job of being able to stay on top of every situation, never letting up, never giving an inch. And just a really nice game coming out from them. Looking at talent, some of the builds that these guys went with. Of course, you know, we always see Ride the Lightning and Rolling Thunder, so pretty standard Brawl build, going Tempest Fury for the extra damage on those final strikes. Giant Killer, of course, which is really great. Double front line up here. ETC going Block Party here. That's pretty interesting. I'm not very familiar with that talent. Let's see. Oh, nice. The AoE block. Okay. So you figure when your team is trying to coordinate to collapse on enemies, when you're doing that CC combo and you're fighting in the close quarters on shrines, that you could get some serious value out of Block Party. I like that. Of course, everybody goes with the... Oh my gosh. I'm thinking maybe I may not be knowing about some ETC changes. Crowd Surfer allows Power Slide to travel over walls and terrain. That is pretty sick, actually. That's pretty neat. I'm not super familiar with ETC. He's one of my favorite tanks, but seeing some new talents coming out here. Slows enemies, of course, on face melt. That's always really nice. And going Bolt, we didn't actually get... I don't think we really got to see too much Bolt action. That match ended pretty closely after they got level 20, but seen a lot of epic ETC plays with Bolt and Mosh. Monkey Lamps electing to go Trauma Trigger, of course. When you're in there on this close quarters, it's really nice to have that damage reduction. The sick cleanse play at the end, I cannot get over how crazy that was, blocking the Wailing Arrow to be able to let that Mosh continue. Medevac getting some nice value with those quick rotations. Of course, everybody goes that same 20 talent for the extra mana, the extra, and then the Spell Shield coming out here from Monkey Lamps as well, which is really nice, I think, against Li Ming. Just constantly getting extra value from that. Quest Gathering Storm coming out from Jelly Ninja. Gonna go ahead and go Updraft for the extra barrel roll range. Boomerang, of course, to get that extra burst damage out, being the only real burst damage dealer. I mean, you get a little bit from Thrall, but most of that burst damage is going to be coming out from Jelly Ninja. Airy Gus, as well as Epic Mount, getting that extra global presence, always great. Infest, Medusa Blade, so just in general, pushing talents to start. Wasn't surprised to see Devouring Maw. Like I said, you wonder how much value you get out of Sundering plus Mosh Pit plus Gust plus Devouring Maw, but this is a solid team. This is one of those top of the Division 1 teams where you can expect that they're going to have the ability to be able to sync up these ults really, really well. And so not surprised to see all of those different zoning ones. We only saw one Gust out of Mosh there, but of course Hydralisk and Mutalisk, so constantly upgrading those, getting the bigger Maw. As far as the side of Mayhem, Paralysis, a standard pick on here to get that extra tower shutdown. Withering coming out for the extra charge there on Withering. Explosion on Unstable Poison, so that's pretty neat. Of course, a pick that you could take to get some extra value on those shrines to be able to get those cleared a little faster. Wailing came out that we saw a couple of value wailings. It kind of went back and forth throughout the match. Life Drain for the extra sustainability, and of course everybody goes Cold Embrace. Power Hungry coming out with the Calamity build, but then actually going Mirror Ball. Interesting choice for the Calamity build with Mirror Ball. I think most people would go Demon Skin, but kind of goes either way. You get some extra value out of Mirror Ball, but you also can get some extra sustainability. I think in some of those situations with that extra sustain might have led to a few more kills, but then again, you could also argue Mirror Ball leading to more of those kills. Dampen Magic, obviously, something that anybody would take against a Falstad or any other burst damage dealer. Legion of Beetles. So the Legion of Beetles plus the Legion Scarabs to try and get that extra tank ability. Cocoon coming out to try. I would think to try and isolate Morales. Burning Rage coming in to get that extra clear, and Blood for the extra tank ability. We see a lot of either Swift Sweep or the quest talent. Those are really the two. So electing to get the quicker sweep with the extra radius. Empathetic Link, which I think is really, really good on these because you have your tanks so far forward. Again, I feel like Mayhem might have gotten more value out of Johanna, especially with Empathetic Link. I see that working a lot with the sustainability of Johanna, plus all the extra damage she takes with the Empathetic Link. But Crystal Aegis coming out, a lot of clutch Aegises to be able to keep those tanks up for a little while longer to keep them in the match. So those were pretty nicely used throughout the match. Blinding Flash, really good against a Thrall in general. Also not bad against Falstad and Zagara. We see a lot more Falstads building auto attack nowadays too. So Blinding Flash, always nice. And then the extra ability damage for Li Ming. Eternal Hunger coming out there, so more of a bruiser Arthas, the extra damage. Also really nice for clearing up the shrines, so I see what that was all about. Army of the Dead. Being that main front take, you were either going to see Anubarak or Arthas go with the more tanky, and since they already have the ability to shut down the towers with Sylve, no reason for Cinder Ghost there. Howling Blast, and then Frostmourne Feeds, that extra damage. So that is going to do it for me for this match, guys. Thank you very much to both Mayhem and Kairos for coming out, putting on a really good show for us. Very solid performance from Kairos. They will advance on to be 3-0, well on their way to earning a Division 1 playoff berth here about halfway through the season. I think they are in pretty good shape. Definitely not out of the race for Mayhem, though. 2-1, you're really still looking in pretty good shape as well. I think in Division 1, it's probably just going to take a winning record in general. 3-3 might not be able to make it, but 4-2 I think is pretty much an auto win into that top 16. So both of these teams still alive and well, still two of the best teams in Division 1, so we look forward to seeing more of them. I have another match coming up here very, very soon. It is going to be Division 3 match, the Jackson 5 versus Randy Courtyard 25. That's going to be starting up a little bit longer than an hour from now, 7 o'clock start time. And then, of course, Can't Wake Up versus Lizard Wizards at 8 o'clock, Pro Division match. Going to be looking forward to that one tonight. So thank you very much for joining me, guys, and I will see you guys again soon.